They say the world is connected. They sell you stories about breaking barriers and tearing down walls, but look closer. Behind every headline, every boardroom pitch, every strategy meeting, there's a deeper fracture, a silent tension nobody wants to admit. Because the real truth? The world is more divided than ever. Nations clash, markets fight, ideas get boxed in by borders and identities. And you're stuck between wanting to lead something bigger and feeling like you're trapped in an old playbook written for a world that no longer exists. It's exhausting, right? Trying to scale, to innovate, to invest your time and resources, only to run into invisible walls that none of the traditional business advice can tear down. The frustration isn't just because the competition is fierce. No, it's because the system itself is stuck, outdated, and frankly hostile to radical new thinking. It's designed for sameness, mediocrity, comfort. And that comfort? It's a cage disguised as freedom. You know the feeling? Pushing harder, grinding longer, assembling teams from everywhere, yet still sensing a disconnect. A lack of real, deep synergy that moves mountains instead of just shaking the earth. Because true progress isn't just about scaling faster or optimizing better, it's about changing the game entirely. And there lies the brutal, beautiful secret. The true edge, the next unparalleled advantage in business, doesn't come from tweaking products or turning a bigger profit. It comes from something that the old world fears, the power of global unity. Not the shallow, sold to the highest bidder unity you find in glossy speeches or temporary alliances where everybody smiles but nobody trusts. Real unity, powerful unity, the kind that's the foundation for unimaginable growth and impact, is forged when minds, hearts, and visions from every corner of the world refuse to be boxed in by borders, ideologies, preconceived roles. It's not about erasing differences, it's about unleashing them. When you tap into that web of diverse, fiercely driven individuals, each burning with their own mission but linked by a shared desire to create next-level impact, you get more than collaboration. You get a force that disrupts not only markets, but mindsets, power structures, and entire realities. Imagine a world where your value as a founder, investor, or leader isn't confined to your local network or the boundaries of your country's policies. Where the best ideas come not just from within your industry or region, but from a tightly woven network of rare individuals who challenge each other, complement each other, ignite each other's fire. This network doesn't ask you to join a predefined system. It asks you to become sovereign, to wield your unique will as your weapon, to question every rule, every truth handed down as gospel, to toss aside comfort and conformity and learn the hard truth that building something truly exceptional means losing your footing multiple times, but rising every time stronger, sharper, more aligned. The pain of isolation in a world that praises connection yet delivers loneliness is real. You might feel it. Brilliant ideas crushed in meetings, partnerships that lack depth, investments that don't resonate with your real vision. This comes from a world that doesn't see you. Not really. It wants you to be one of the many because many don't threaten the fragile status quo. But rare individuals, true creators, visionaries, the ones who refuse to bend, those people don't fit into boxes. They are often misunderstood, pushed to edges where they feel alone. But what if solitude is not the end? What if it's the beginning? When these rare few find each other, when they abandon the old models of scaled noise and hollow belonging, what emerges is something new and terrifyingly powerful. A collective of unlike minds, aligned not by uniformity, but by a shared refusal to settle. This is the real rebellion, the front line of the future. Not some grand manifesto written by faceless offices or politicians, but a living network of people who understand that, to create what's next, they must first unlearn everything they've been taught about boundaries, hierarchies, and limitations. This kind of global unity isn't just a feel-good vision. It's a ruthless business advantage, because markets are global, supply chains are global, talent is global, And if your thinking remains national, local, boxed, you're already behind. The next level leaders know this. They've stopped waiting for the system to catch up or make allowances. They've ignited their own infrastructure, one where difference isn't a barrier but a launchpad, where selective collaboration brings together not thousands, but the few who burn with unyielding passion. The few whose ideas cut through noise because they are rare, raw, and impossible to dismiss. This is not community. It's not networking. It's a precision strike of connected minds who share the hunger to redefine reality itself. You want to solve the problems others call impossible: global warming, slow economic growth, systemic injustice, lack of access. These are not separate silos anymore. They overflow into one another. Real solutions, real progress, comes when the right people find each other and are given space to become, to evolve beyond their titles, countries, or past failures, to think not as representatives of a nation or industry, but as sovereign creators of a shared future. If you want to lead in the next decade, in the new world, you must start shedding old allegiances. Political, cultural, economic. These are nothing but shaky bridges ready to collapse under the weight of tomorrow's challenges. Your survival, your relevance, hinges on embracing cosmopolitanism, not just as an idea, but as a daily practice. Every decision, every partnership, every investment must stretch beyond borders to the rare few who resonate with your unique flame. This is the only way to cut through the noise, to amplify essence, and most importantly, to build power that cannot be bought or copied. Building this network will be uncomfortable. It demands impatience with the status quo and patience with the process. It requires sharp critique of everything you've ever accepted and the guts to stand alone when nobody else does. But in that struggle, you discover freedom, the kind that no comfort or safety net can provide. The liberation of being yourself, fully and unapologetically, while anchored in a fierce alliance that transcends geography and tribe. It means turning off the autopilot of business as usual and rewriting your reality. Creating ecosystems not of compliance, but of fire. Networks built of select burning individuals who refuse to rest on their laurels or live borrowed lives. Those few become the signal in the static, the spark that lights unstoppable change. Imagine waking up knowing that you're connected to a global fabric of creators and doers who get it. They know what it means to be misaligned and misunderstood, and who embrace it as fuel to create next-level breakthroughs. Imagine tearing down the walls of isolation and distrust that cripple your potential, and instead forging alliances where each difference is an asset, where contrast leads to strength, and where the impossible becomes inevitable. This is the new game. Not built on noise or sameness, but on exclusive, aligned power, a network of rare individuals linked by purpose and unbreakable trust. This isn't easy. It won't come from shortcuts or old rulebooks, but neither does building the future. Just ask anyone who dared to break the mold. The few who refuse to settle have always shaped history, because they refuse to accept the imaginary walls the world put around them. Today, that rebellion is your biggest asset. So don't just build a business, build a movement within you and around you. Connect with the rare. Hunt for brilliance beyond borders. Practice ruthless sovereignty. Question everything. Team up with the few who burn with the same fire. Be patient, because real change is a marathon, not a sprint. Yet every step forward unlocks more power than you dared imagine. This isn't about making life easier. It's about making life yours. To build, to lead, to transform in ways the world hasn't seen before. Global unity isn't a dream. It's the next battlefield of business and humanity combined. The next advantage beyond capital, labor, or innovation. It's the ultimate catalyst to transcend outdated systems, align misaligned brilliance, and unleash a future where the rare thrive and the many benefit. Look around you. The walls are crumbling. The old game is over. Now is the moment to become more, to become that rare individual, sovereign and connected beyond measure, because the future isn't waiting for anyone. It's being built by those who dare to unite the world inside themselves, and then, through relentless action, set the world on fire.